All right, everyone. For those of you who are going to join me for this one, I am here. Let me do a few things before I get my little discussion going. Let me load up a few more pictures here. And then I'm going to alert everyone over on my original YouTube channel. Hello to whoever that is that's watching me. This is yet another after work pre-go outside live stream. For the duration of the time I'll be working remotely, I'm going to squeeze these in. I realize this is the commute hour and the rush hour, and not everybody's available to watch these live, but the beauty of YouTube is that you can watch things on the playback. I tried to pull down one more image here. Give me 1 second. Oh, there's one. There's another one I wanted to pull down. There's that one. And then there's this one. Okay, let me make an announcement over on my original channel in case anyone wants to come over to watch this. Let's see. Let me share. I have a nice solid connection. Okay, so for whatever reason, I can't tag it. Let's see, over on contribute to the late Diabolical Biz Markie. Over on Big Discussions 76 Entertainment and Media, I'm doing a short stream in tribute to the late Diabolical Biz Markie. Okay, post. Okay, so that's been shared over there. Let me switch over to that channel. So that I can see all the data come in real time. And now let me just do one more thing, which is to try to use Instagram. Go back to my original channel here. Whenever Tommy Sotomayor would go live, he'd be doing all these things before he actually started talking about what he was going to talk about. I never knew what he was doing, but now I know. He was sending alerts to all of his people in case folks wanted to come through. Okay, let me copy the link. Let me go to Instagram. Thank you for the 2 people who are here. Let's see. Doing a short stream. In tribute. Biz Markie. The link is here. Oh, got 3 folks in here. Simulcasting to Facebook. All right, let's go. I intend for this to be a short stream, and I want to go outside and get some fresh air. Okay, everyone, let's see who this is. Abdul Gaines. Abdul Gaines, thank you for coming through. Looking forward to seeing and breaking some bread with Abdul Gaines shortly. Talk about sports and teams that win and lose and all other kinds of things. Okay, everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussion 76 Entertainment and Media. Please like the stream. Please share it. And also, please subscribe to my channel. This is one of 4. This is one of my 4 YouTube channels. I'm sorry, that's the wrong slide. This is one of my 4 YouTube channels. This is my smallest. This one is almost, it's about 30 or so subs away from 200. And this channel over here deals with media, movies, books, TV shows. And this might be the first offering over here that deals entirely with music and a musician. Early on, I did do a stream. Actually, no, it wasn't a stream. It was a pre-record. I did do a pre-record back when I first started using Hulu. I binge watched the entire season of Wu-Tang and American Saga. So, but that was more about a TV show. This is going to be more about an artist. And unfortunately, because of the way YouTube operates, I don't feel safe playing any of Biz Markie's music because it's going to trigger, I think it will trigger the copyright claim. So if you're unfamiliar with Biz's music, if you're a post Gen Xer, if you're a millennial or a Generation Y or a Generation Alpha person, I'm going to mention some of his songs, and you can look those up because they're all on YouTube. But it's become I've become aware that music is often generation specific, and the subsequent generations don't always know the music that came before it. But that's a different story for a different day. So last Friday, there was talk of this maybe about 2 to 3 weeks ago, but last Friday I was at a Mexican restaurant here in Northern Virginia, and I got word on my smartphone that the Diabolical Biz Markie passed away. From what I'm reading, it was from complications associated with diabetes, type 2 diabetes. He was a bigger guy, and I'm going to show you some pictures of what he looked like later in life, and probably right before he passed away. But for those of us from Gen X who were into hip hop, Biz Markie definitely left his mark on hip hop music starting in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And I'm going to explain why and how I first discovered him. I'm going to start with an article that I found on Rolling Stone. And I'm going to read this article, and then I have some pictures queued up, and I'm going to show some pictures of Biz. And I'm going to talk about how I discovered him and what I thought when I first saw him, and also how I came to ultimately appreciate his music and his genius, because he was very, very unique. His rhyme style was unique, and his entire image was unique. So I'm going to read this article, and I'm going to show you some pictures and tell some stories, and then I'll wrap up. Let's see. So this article is from Rolling Stone. And it's entitled Biz Markie, the Clown Prince of Hip Hop, dead at 57. Okay. So that was his I don't want to use shtick, but that was his MO, his modus operandi, that was Biz's, I don't want to say his gimmick, but that was his act. As I'll describe, there was a lot of shock value. There was a lot of his image was unusual. He very much, his act was very much about him going into character and looking outrageous and doing things that were outrageous in certain instances. Abdul Gain says, Biz was one of the most well-liked people in hip hop. No one had a bad word to say about him. That's true. You almost never, you never heard any scandal about Biz. Okay. So this article reads, Biz Markie, the clown prince of hip hop, dead at age 57. Just a Friend rapper struggled with health issues related to decade-long battle with type 2 diabetes. And I think that's the same thing that took down Phife Dawg from A Tribe Called Quest. Let's see. I see Kwame Shuja from Hutch Tech High School just shared this stream. Thank you, Kwame. If you're watching, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. So this reads as follows. And this is going to be a short stream, guys. Biz Markie, the pioneering rapper, producer, and beatboxer whose jovial goofiness, boundless, off-kilter creativity, and innovative music made him a singular presence in both hip-hop and pop culture at large, died Friday at the age of 57. It is with profound sadness that we announce this evening, with his wife Tara by his side, hip-hop pioneer Biz Markie peacefully passed away. His rep, Jenny Izumi, said in a statement, "We are grateful for the many calls and prayers of support that we have received during this difficult time." Biz created a legacy of artistry that will forever be celebrated by his industry peers and his beloved fans, whose lives he was able to touch through music spanning over 35 years, Izumi added. He leaves behind a wife, many family members, and close friends who will miss his vibrant personality, constant jokes, and frequent banter. We respectfully request privacy for his family as they mourn their loved one. While a cause of death was not revealed, the rapper had struggled in recent years with health issues related to his decade-long battle with type 2 diabetes. In April 2020, he was hospitalized due to complications related to the disease, and later that year suffered a stroke. Although the rapper was rehabilitating, his condition continued to decline, leading to premature reports of Markie's death in late June. So reports were, emerging weeks before last Friday that he had passed away. But it seems that he held on for a little while longer. Biz is still under medical care, surrounded by professionals who are working hard to provide the best health care possible, Izumi wrote in a statement to Rolling Stone at that time. Over the course of 5 albums, most notably 1988's Going Off and 1989's The Biz Never Sleeps, the producer MC, whose real name was Marcel Hall, developed his own style unlike any other rapper at the time, a mix of half sung and intentionally half off-key choruses, riveting beatboxing, and silly humor that would earn him the nickname the Clown Prince of Hip Hop and pave the way for gloriously bizarre rappers like Old Dirty Bastard. Although deemed one of hip-hop's biggest one-hit wonders, VH1 placed his 1989 classic Just a Friend at number 81 on its 2000 list of the greatest one-hit wonders of all time. The rapper's impact extended far beyond hip-hop's greatest friend zone lament. The Harlem-born, Long Island-raised MC was a member of the legendary Juice Crew, the Queensbridge collective assembled by DJ Magic Mike and Marley Marl, and featuring fellow rappers like Big Daddy Kane, Master Ace, Roxanne Shante, and Cool G Rap. Markie's single debut, the Marley Marl produced Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz in 1986, showcased the human beatbox skills that would become a trademark throughout Biz Markie's career. His beatboxing skills were so otherworldly, he was cast in a cameo role as a beatboxing mail sorting alien in 2002's Men in Black 2. With Marl as producer, Markie released his 1988 debut LP Going Off on the Juice Crew's Cold Chillin' Records. While not a critical success, the album featured the enduring underground hits, Vapors, Nobody Beats the Biz, a play on a jingle of a New York electronics store, Nobody Beats the Wiz, and Pickin' Boogers, the latter of which highlighted the Clown Prince's unique blend of humor and hip-hop. When Rolling Stone asked the rapper in 2018 if the stories he described in the Vapors were real, he replied, "Dead real, everything. I did not know how to write no other way." The song will go on to be sampled by everyone from Notorious B.I.G. to Ice Cube, while the Pickin' Boogers line, "Now let me take a trip down memory lane," would later feature prominently in Nas's Illmatic classic Memory Lane. Yep. In 1989, Markie released what would become his most successful album, The Biz Never Sleeps, thanks to its breakout track, Just a Friend, with the hook featuring Markie's hound dog croon on an interpolation of Freddie Scott's 1986 song, You Got What I Need, and aided by a similarly comedic music video that cast Markie as Mozart. The track reached number 9 on the Billboard 100 in 1990, the only platinum-selling hit of Markie's career. You know what? I'm going to show some pictures. Since the article mentioned those, I'm going to show some pictures from that. So this is a picture of his album Going Off right there. So that's a picture of that. And that pretty much illustrates his clown, Prince of hip hop, unusual image right there. And this is the album cover for The Biz Never Sleeps. Okay, I thought I had that queued up. Give me 1 second. All right, where is it? There it is. That's the album cover for The Biz Never Sleeps. So at least for that stretch of his career, part of his thing was dressing up as characters. And in Just a Friend, he did dress up as Mozart, and here on the album cover, he's dressed as this mad scientist. So The Biz Never Sleeps, and in this instance, he's portraying himself as a mad scientist who never sleeps. I had this record. I'll discuss how I got the record after I get done reading the article, but this was actually in the album itself, I believe, because when you gotta in those days, when you purchased a cassette, the cassette came and you had a little booklet wrapped around the cassette that you could unfold. Sometimes the lyrics were in there, and then sometimes just the credits and the samples and the producers and all those things were in there. If I recall correctly, in The Biz Never Sleeps, there was a picture of him and his DJ Cutmaster Cool V. So that's Biz right there, eating the cereal Diabolical Crunch, and that's his cousin / DJ Cutmaster Cool V right there with the worker the hard hat and the rope gold chain. And in the late 1980s, the rope gold chain, that was a pretty big deal for hip hoppers and in the inner city communities. So I'm going to go back to the article. The storied hook delivery occurred more by happenstance than design. I asked people to sing the part and nobody showed up at the studio, he told Entertainment Weekly in 2019. So I did it myself. Sometimes when you're creating something, you ultimately have to end up doing it yourself. I've learned that personally. Usually when I make a record, I know what the potential is going to be, but I didn't know that Just a Friend was going to be that big, Markie said in 2013. Just a Friend opened a world up where I never knew the difference between being a pop star and a regular rap star. It was crazy. Let's see. I want to play that. The article is below. If you're unfamiliar with it, you can play it. I want to play it, but I don't want to get a copyright claim against this stream. Markie subsequently released I Need a Haircut in 1991, though his career hit a litigious stalling point due to his unauthorized use of Gilbert O'Sullivan's sample on the track Alone Again. I'm not familiar with that track. While the ensuing Grand Upright Music Ltd. Versus Warner Brothers Records Inc. wasn't the first sampling lawsuit, its judgment had a landmark impact on hip-hop. Following the judge's ruling, which, according to NPR, included a $250,000 fine, a halt on sales of I Need a Haircut, and most bewildering, the recommendation that Markie face criminal charges for theft, record labels were forced to get clearance on all samples by the original copyright holders. I'm going to come back to that. The Clown Prince of Hip Hop took the ruling in stride and channeled the incident into his 1993 album, All Samples Cleared, which lampooned the court case by using a sample of 5 different renditions of the same song, Alan Toussaint's Get Out of My Life Woman. While Markie would release only one more album during his lifetime, 2003's Weekend Warrior, he remained a cultural mainstay thanks to appearances on comedy series In Living Color, Crank Yankers, Wildin' Out, children's shows, SpongeBob SquarePants, and Yo Gabba Gabba, where Markie was also a member of the touring unit as himself, cameos in Blackish, Empire, Hip Hop Squares, and countless VH1's I Love the Specials. Markie was also featured on the Beastie Boys cover of Elton John's Benny and the Jets, The Avalanches, The Noisy Eater, Flaming Lips, and Keisha's 2012 You Must Be Upgraded, De La Soul, Stone Age, and Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist's God is Perfect. Speaking to Rolling Stone in 2018 on The Vapors, Markie said, I always look at records like, if it has a good feeling, it's going to have a good feeling for a long time. And I think, they've listed out a couple of his videos here. Nobody Beats the Biz, De La Soul's Stone Age, Let Me Turn You On, Pickin' Boogers. And that's the end of the article. So I'm going to say a few more things. I want to thank those in my audience who are watching this. Please give this a like if you haven't. All right, that's got 1 like. Again, I didn't expect a large turnout for this one. But if you're watching on the playback, please like it and please subscribe. So I've queued up a couple of pictures here, which I'm going to walk through myself. I'll keep it on that picture there. So a little hip hop history lesson. So hip hop and rap music was much different in the 1980s and early 1990s than what it is today. I think it was, that was my era. So I have a fondness for that era. And I think the level and the amount of creativity in that era, you just can't compare today's music to that era, specifically the hip hop and the rap music. I'm talking about the lyricism, the concepts, the imagery, the DJing, the beatboxing, the dancing. You just can't compare today's hip hop to that of the 1980s and the 1990s. I started listening to hip hop music probably in the late 1980s. Me and my brother were into hair bands for some reason in the 1980s, and then in an effort to reconnect with my blackness in the late 1980s, I started listening to R&B and hip hop. I started listening to R&B and hip hop. I got to slow down. And in that time, there were different tribes. Literally, there were different tribes. There were a lot of conscious rappers like Boogie Down Productions. I don't know if anyone out there remembers the Stop the Violence movement or Edutainment or Return of the Boom Bap. There was a lot of conscious rap at that time. I have fond memories of the New Jack era. So Heavy D was kind of plugged into the New Jack era. My favorite song from Heavy D was "Is It Good to You," where Tammy Lucas sung the hook. That was a pretty strong hit. When I first started listening to rap music, I started listening to NWA and Eazy-E. So I plugged into the gangster rap genre pretty early. If you're new coming in, please like the stream. Having a small turnout here. It's after work. Let's see. Sheets, as we hear. Okay, I'm going to make this quick because I know Perfect is on as well. But I plugged into NWA, Eazy-E, eventually the Ghetto Boys, and those kinds of things. My favorite rap group of all time is the duo here, Gangstar, DJ Premier, and Guru. Let's see, I eventually fell in love with the Wu-Tang Clan, as with everyone else. They came in the early to the mid-1990s, and then they all branched off into individual artists. But Biz Markie, there was another group called the Juice Crew from a label called Cold Chillin' Records, and I believe this was run by Marley Marl. In this picture, let's see, you have Big Daddy Kane, you have Cool G Rap. I think that's Marley Marl right there in the back, and there's Biz Markie. Roxanne Shante is not in this picture, but that's the Juice Crew. That's Cold Chillin' Records. Biz Markie was a part of that group. When I first saw Biz Markie, this is an early image of him right here. When I first saw him, I think it was Just a Friend. And as the article described, his style was very comedic. It was kind of outrageous. He was very much going for humor. And I didn't understand it at first. And I was kind of thinking, okay, well, who is this guy? And actually, the first release of his that I might have heard might have been The Vapors, which is a classic, where he talks about The Vapors was basically about people getting dissed, and then those people getting dissed reaching some level of success and stardom, and then the people who dissed them wanting to be down with them later on. So he talks about himself, he talks about Big Daddy Kane, he talks about Cool V, he talks about TJ Swan. TJ Swan sung on a lot of his records, such as Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz, and also Nobody Beats the Biz. So that's what The Vapors was about. And then he came out with Just a Friend. That one, when I first heard it, I was kind of like, what the hell is this? But it grew on me. I also enjoyed Spring Again, where he sampled Back Together by Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack. A lot of the rappers in that era, they sampled hits from the early 80s, the 70s, and I think maybe as far back as the 60s. So he sampled a lot of R&B classics. So that's, let's see, Nobody Beats the Biz, Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz, The Vapors, Just a Friend, Spring Again. Those were all his hits. One of my favorite hits of his, which is not very well known, is The Dragon. And that was off of the Biz Never Sleeps. That song was about hygiene and body odor. It was funny. It was it had a catchy beat. Speaking of which, and I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon because I want to go outside. Let's see. For those of you who are sub to this channel, I did a review of seasons 1 and 2 of Snowfall. Let me pull one of those images up. Yeah, I'll use this picture of Franklin and Jerome. So I did a review of seasons 1 and 2 of Snowfall. And for those of you who have watched Snowfall, it's a good series, good writing, good acting. The sets are good, but also one of the most distinct aspects of Snowfall is the soundtrack. The late John Singleton and whoever is producing the show right now, they wrote that show up so that all of the old classic R&B songs and even some soft rock songs are in that series, and they're part of the series. Well, after one of the episodes from season 2 or season 3, they played the actual song, the original song from The Dragon. So Biz Markie for The Dragon, he sampled. Let me see if I can look it up really, really quickly so I can see who he sampled, what song he sampled, because there's a very, very distinct in The Dragon. Let's see, www.google. Just bear with me. Dragon. It's got a very, very distinct sound. Okay. I cannot quickly find this right now. So what I will do is I will look it up and I will leave it in the comments section. But I'm saying this to say that Biz, along with a lot of the other MCs and rappers from that era, they sampled music from the early 80s, the 70s, and maybe from the late 60s as well. And one of those songs that he sampled from was played on at the end of one of the episodes of Snowfall. Let's see. So in addition to being in movies, because it said that he only recorded 5 albums, Biz also spent a lot of his later years DJing. Here's a picture of Biz DJing. There is a promoter here in the DMV. I think it's Terry Frazier. I think his name is Terry Frazier. Terry Frazier, before the pandemic, hosted a lot of events, a lot of hotel parties, a lot of casino parties over at the National Harbor Casino. And oftentimes, several times a year, the DJ Terry Frazier would bring in was Biz Markie. And I went to a couple of those parties, and sure enough, you would see Biz Markie up on stage DJing for everybody, just like Kid Capri would. Here's another image of Biz. Looks like he's very much in personality there. Looks like he's flexing for the crowd. And there's another image of Biz right there. So this was a guy that was, he was a tall guy, very big and burly, very hard to miss in a crowd. He has a very distinct face, a very distinct image, a very distinct smile. Very, very hard to miss him in a crowd. And actually, the last thing I'll probably say is that prior to the pandemic, I was flying home, or I was flying somewhere out of Ronald Reagan DCA airport. And as I was going to my gate, it was early evening, maybe late evening. I was walking by with my luggage, going to my gate. And who did I see sitting, waiting for an airplane? It was Biz Markie. And he was kind of sitting there with this, like this, looking like this, like he was kind of zoned out. And I walked by him and I saw him and I was kind of like, I looked around because celebrities don't always want to be approached. For those of you who have seen celebrities and met celebrities in person, some of them are nice, some of them are engaging, and some of them will blow you off. And so I saw him and I stopped and I just kind of said, "Hey, how you doing? I know who you are. I'm a fan of yours. And, I've always appreciated your music. I appreciated your work." And he just kind of looked at me like, yeah, good, thanks. And I just took my luggage and I kept going. I didn't really try to bother him, but I did see Biz DJ, and I did see him in Ronald Reagan National Airport one time a couple of years ago. He was probably here DJing a party for the gentleman I just described to you, but I did see him, and I didn't want to play myself by going to get an autograph and blowing up his spot in the airport, because while I recognized him, there wasn't a crowd around him. So the other people in that concourse, maybe they didn't know who he was, but I knew who Biz Markie was. So in any case, we're at 37 minutes, so I'm going to stop this here. I want to thank the small crowd that I had for this live stream. This one, I didn't expect this one to be a big one. This is my smallest channel, but I did want to do something for Biz Markie's passing, because Biz Markie's passing is significant. He was a legendary artist, particularly from my childhood. I came of age as a teen in the late 80s and the early 1990s, and I did have one of his records, a cassette tape, and then, I got to tell this story. And then when I went away to my HBCU, Johnson C. Smith University, I did have Biz's Greatest Hits CD. And that was one of my favorite CDs. And at some point during my first year at Johnson C. Smith University in Liston Hall, my Biz Markie CD came up missing. So someone in Liston Hall at Johnson C. Smith University, or someone who visited Liston Hall, stole my Biz Markie Greatest Hits CD. I was bumping that CD all the time. Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz, Nobody Beats the Biz, The Vapors, It's Spring Again, Just a Friend, The Dragon, all those. I was bumping that, and someone stole my Biz Markie CD. But that wasn't the worst thing that happened to me that year at Johnson C. Smith University. But that's a different story for a different day. So I'm going to stop this short live stream here. Thank you, Diabolical Biz Markie. Thank you for your musical contributions and your contributions to all of us throughout the years. Rest in power. And rest in power. Thank you. So I'm going to stop this here, everyone. If you're watching on the playback, please like the stream, please share it, and definitely please subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.